Jesus, that always scares me. Right.
Horrifying.
Okay, so hi everyone. We are here for episode 7 of HorrorCast, and I'm going to be hosting today. My name is Amber, and with me I have
Adam.
My name's Jude.
And hello, my name is RedRare.
And we have a lot of talking points today, 23 actually in total, centering around the idea of exorcisms, pandemics, epidemics, other kind of edicts. And right, okay, so we'll start with the first point, which is, are exorcisms a fact of nature?
What do you mean, fact of nature?
I guess it's in the sense of, do you think it's a real thing, or do you think it actually happens, or is it just something that's made up?
Oh, it absolutely happened. There's historical documents that just suggest that it happened. I'm not quite sure about how frequent they are on the page, but way back, we loved to exercise people. It was our thing.
In Italy, I think there's still a huge amount that actually gets done every week. They're huge believers in it.
Yeah, I think Spain is pretty close as well, isn't it, with that? It must be the Latin languages.
For me, in Malaysia, we mostly do. There's a lot of black magic in mostly the 90s.
Okay, so what kind of black magic?
Like bring misfortune to the people.
So like curses and things like that?
Yep. And sometimes send like ghosts to the people.
Oh, okay, so it's like bad wishing upon others, that kind of thing. Almost like like witchcraft.
Yep.
And how
But as for demons, then you wouldn't, not that kind of thing.
No. Mostly angry spirits, mostly.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Jude.
I was just wondering if there was a way that people would ward off those spirits or have any kind of talisman to protect themselves from it, or is it not really a big issue?
Well, in my place is mostly religious in Islam, so we have a way to defend from getting those evil spirits by like reading the Al-Quran or praying mostly. Yeah. But if you have a weak spirit, like you don't pray that much, you mostly probably gonna die.
Oh.
That's no fun.
That escalated quickly.
You're probably gonna die.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Exorcism, I feel like a lot of the exorcism that does happen in modern time are a product of some independent church or something like that. Like I remember hearing about a church doing some sort of gay exorcism on somebody, and that wasn't too long ago. And I think that was just some sort of rogue organization taking upon themselves to do something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well. Like, it seems to be more of an independent thing, like independent churches that are still steeped in like old school traditions and old school beliefs.
Yeah.
I had a school,
but I couldn't see. Oh yeah, carry on.
I had a teacher. This was only maybe 5 years ago, and she, oh gosh, what religion was she? Where you can't have blood transfusions and things like that. But she was saying, look, they're real. I've seen people levitate off the building, off things, and obviously I tried to get into what she was getting at, and then she just wouldn't talk about it anymore.
Oh, interesting.
That's really interesting. I'm not sure how I'd feel if I went to a sleepover and I saw one of my friends like levitating, but at least that time of my life is gone now. So I mean, here I just can't think of anything, especially in recent times in England, where anything like an exorcism has happened. So I feel like it's one of those things that are frowned upon, and it's like it's just tissed upon. Like it's not something that's taken seriously. It is a supernatural thing that we just don't cater to that here, I don't think. But I think it's more of those, the paranormal experts and stuff that dabble in it. But it's not. It's one of those things that we just watch in a horror film and then that's it. It's not something that is wide known here.
I guess
So if we carry on.
Sorry, I guess it depends. In Australia anyway, it probably depends on what circles you travel in. Whether you hear of it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the same here as well. Like I said, with if you've got the old steeped tradition church, but I think as well, we don't really, I mean, obviously we have religion and stuff like that, but a lot more people in England are a lot more atheist than they are believing in God. So maybe that's something that plays a massive part. Like our country isn't so steeped in religion, and if it is, it's we have a big Islamic community as well and a Jewish community. It's we're a small country with so many different religions that there isn't just one thing to believe in. So I think that also plays a part.
Yeah, I'd say anybody who is doing some sort of exorcism are not going to propagate it publicly. They're going to be very hush hush.
Yeah, exactly. So then that's the next question is, does the devil exist?
Well, I mean, depends on. I think I like this is straight away. It was a very skeptical well, but I mean, it depends on what the definition of the devil is. I've heard some people say that
Yeah.
the devil is a manifestation of the evil on earth. It's not actually a personification like a lot of religions have a little man with pointy red horns and a little stick. A lot of people don't buy that. Some people say that, the devil is if you're, I don't know, depends on your moral compass in life. If you're not into drugs, you might look at drugs as being the devil. If you're not into prostitution, you might say
Yeah.
prostitution is the devil. These are, so it depends on what your definition is.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, Jude? She disappeared?
Oh my God, Jude, we've lost her.
Okay, Red, do you wanna take over? Oh, she's back. Or not?
Hello. All right.
You go ahead, Red.
Alright.
Okay. So for me, I guess the devil does exist. I guess that's what I want to believe in. I don't know. In my, I guess, religion, we have a lot of different type of, I guess, devil or demons, you want to call them. Mostly the mostly name one is like the Dajjal, and it's mostly like an antichrist.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I think I believe in like the devil exists.
Okay. I think I'm pretty much on the same level as Adam, really. I think that the devil is due down to individual beliefs. But it's something I was talking about earlier is that the devil was created as a form of punishment to back in the day when Christianity was I don't know whether to say invented or first spoken about, I suppose. That they were quick to preach about heaven and moving on to a better life if you do good and things, but then they realized somewhere down the line that there was no punishment system for those who had done bad things. So then they created hell. So because of that, I don't know if the devil does exist. So it's more of an idea of it's just life, you know. If you're gonna tempt bad omens, then I think that's more down to you as a person rather than whether there is an existential being as such. But I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool concept, but I'm not sure if I believe in it. I do think that there's things that we can't explain, and I do think there are things that can, you know, be bad. Like there might be poltergeist or whatever. I'm not sure how I think about that, but I do think there is bad things. I just don't know if I believe in the all-encompassing devil figure. I think Jude has disappeared again, so I will move on to the next question. Which is the one that we were discussing before as well, which is if you live your life hurting people, so being imprisoned, being a rapist, being, you know, committing the worst kind of crimes, murdering people, if you would go to hell, would the devil really punish you for doing his work?
I mean, with keeping in mind, like, let's say that he is real, and that is he is a guy down there, and he's ready to go. I would say that that would be his job description. He'd have to have that on his resume, you know. So, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's his, I mean, like that's the whole thing. I mean, his idea of a good time, I guess, or his duty in life, or whatever he is to punish people who have done horrible things. So I would say that yes, he would, theoretically.
Okay. And Red?
I Well, I have to agree with you. I think that if you're going to hell, you are going to be punished by the sins that you did in the world.
Yeah.
Basically anything like murder or something like that, you need to be punished.
Then
Yeah,
again, you know,
I agree.
wouldn't that just be a fantastic plot twist if you got down there and he was just like, "Hey, no, you're good. Just chill. Here's some Vegemite. Here's some ice cream. You're good to go."
But then that's just like, you know, I have a thing with a lot injustice. Like it's something that happens a lot, especially in the world, and that would literally just make me so mad if they've done nothing but hurt other people all their life, and then they get to basically their idea of heaven, because the idea of heaven clearly doesn't sit with them that well, so they don't care if they're going to hell, and then they get to hell and the devil's just like, yo man, thanks for that, good job, here's a beer.
But if
Like I would
maybe
hate
if they
that.
got down there, they just like left it up to all these assholes to kind of attack each other. You know, I mean, theoretically, there'd only be shitty people down there, so they would all be, you know, not making it a
True.
very comfortable atmosphere.
Yeah, and it's like I was saying earlier as well, it can't be that different to prison in that sense, like, because obviously, as I said, you know, you've got crimes happening in prison, you've got people beating each other up in prison, you've got deaths inside prison, so I suppose in a way hell would be exactly the same for them.
Yeah, just be an ongoing.
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of the flip side, like the fight will continue. When they think the fight is finally over, it doesn't, because they just go to an eternity of having to fight for their lives again, except they're not fighting for their lives, they're just fighting endlessly. So I suppose in a way that is hell for them.
But like speaking from like a very I don't know, neutral moral standpoint, wouldn't it be like a kind of outcome if they were just left down there? It was like they're not allowed to go to this beautiful mystic land of heaven, so we'll just put them somewhere else. We'll just put them in the corner down underneath the ground somewhere. And it was just kind of like, look, they don't get tortured, they just have to just not be in anyone else's way, so they have no opportunity to hurt anybody else anymore.
Yeah.
I totally understand your outlook on, you know, they done something wrong, they should be punished, but you know, from a very, very on the fence idea, yeah, maybe it's nice to just kick them out and
One of the things I thought as well, which would be, I think I was inspired again by Black Mirror, is wouldn't it be different if they maybe not reincarnated, Oh, well, actually, that's quite a cool idea. What if they were reincarnated and they became a victim of a person who committed the same crimes that they did?
Yeah, that's sinister, right?
It's sinister, but it's like they need to, like, the thing is, they don't understand how much they hurt someone, or they do and they just don't care. So either they get put through the same treatment that they put onto someone else, or I don't know, because I think that's the only way that they could understand. But then I just think that to be able to do that in the first place, you'd have to have something inside you that says it's okay.
I'm
It's
concerned.
a bit of a weird one.
She back?
Can you hear?
Yay!
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself to play around with my audio. Yeah, I'm really scared that, maybe dying and then having some arbitrary God judge me for the things that I've done. And it might not be, like who knows? Well, it could be anything, right? Maybe I haven't had enough children or sent it, had enough husbands or, haven't,
Yeah.
prayed to Mecca enough or,
Yeah, so like you're
I'd just be
being judged on
shocked.
someone else's standards.
Yeah, and I'd be like, hang on, you didn't tell me that at the start, that you can't change the rules.
I didn't get a handbook for this stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. That
That's
would really
interesting.
suck.
Yeah. And it's like, could you imagine if you get to the place where they're deciding and God was like, well, you did this and you did that. And I'm like, yeah, but at least I didn't kill anyone, God. Like, you do it on the
Yeah.
daily. Like,
The rule-
Yeah,
the rule
yeah.
book
I
says
mean,
that
and
No, go on.
sorry, I'd be like, well, define stealing. These corporations make a lot of money, and if I steal an avocado, really? Not a big deal. Because I figure I'm
Yeah.
hedging my bets, with an avocado, because you could buy it. It could be horrible. So if you buy one, pinch one, you're hedging your bets. You've got 100% chance of getting a good avocado then.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like one really obscure, really just totally out of left field rule that God has, and it's like don't steal avocados. You have like the underlying.
Or you get up there and they're just like, I'm sorry, but there is no population control on England, so we are actually fully booked for the time being. So if you could just take a seat in the waiting room, we'll be with you shortly. And then an eternity later, you're still sitting there. Like, nah.
Yeah. Like the film R.I.P.D. Have you seen that?
No.
That's a really good film. They kind of deal with that scenario there with heaven sort of being, a massive office, and to get a chance to sort of redeem your soul, the two main characters come back and not as themselves, obviously, and they what do they do? I don't know. They're just really funny, and they have to get people from the RIPD area.
Okay.
It's really good.
Huh, interesting. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things that because we don't know what's real and what's not and what actually happens after you die, you just got to kind of ride it out and just hope for the best, really, don't you?
Yeah, it do your head in trying to figure it out, really. Here, does my head in anyway.
Yeah. What's the next one? Does religion... Oh, I like this one. Does religion play a part in creating real horrors?
Oh, yes, it does. I think that should just be my answer. I'm moving forward.
Yeah,
Yes,
drop the
it
mic.
does. Go for it, dude.
That's such a
I
smooth
agree.
answer as well.
Yeah, I agree. Because it depends on what kind of horror flick you like, I guess. But if you're going towards the paranormal, then that's what they're all based on.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, slasher films, I think everyone cops it in those. But yeah, it's about... You go ahead, sorry.
Religion has really covered all the bases here in horror.
Yeah.
Alright. So for me,
Has
Red?
I
anyone
guess
seen The Ritual?
No.
Oh, you have to see
I
it.
need to
It's
start
really
writing
good.
these things down.
It's really, really beautifully shot. It's not. It's some of those films where you just go, oh yeah, this is going to happen, and that happened. It's not like that at all. It keeps you guessing. It's really, really good.
Okay.
It's like a piece of artwork in some of the scenes. So I was just blown away by its creativity, and it's an awesome horror film.
Okay, I'll add that to my list. Okay, Red?
I guess religion does play a part in real horror from, well, I guess either from stories or from a book or from movies, I guess. Like, what do you guys think of? What are your favorites, like religion type horror movies?
The Conjuring. It's pretty good. Pretty solid the
Yeah.
whole way through.
The Exorcist would be my number one.
Hmm.
And Jaws. That's a joke. If you threw in a shark attack in Exorcist and maybe a zombie, I think it'd have everything, wouldn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus, that would be just one of the best.
Well, you've got a sea creature because she crab walks down the stairs, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's crazy. That would scare the crap out of me, something walking on the ceiling.
Do you know what's more scary is trying to do that crab walk down the stairs?
Oh,
Yeah, that seems
gosh.
dangerous.
Yeah. Well, have you tried it? You tried it.
Yeah, I
Wow.
have to.
Hats off to you. 'Cause
Dedication.
yeah, I couldn't even touch my toes on the step. So
just going back
Yeah.
quickly, I'd like to make the point that I would pay a lot of money to see, remember like Freddy versus Jason and like Alien versus Predator?
Yeah.
I'd pay a lot of money
yeah.
to see like, the Exorcist girl versus Jaws, and she just drowns. Like first 10 minutes, she drowns in the ocean, and it's just over credits.
Apparently, there's a Samara versus oh bloody hell, what is her name? The woman from The Grudge. So it's like the girl from The Ring versus the girl from The Grudge. Apparently, there's that film, and I'm definitely going to watch that tonight because it's going to be awful.
How could they
Oh,
see where they're going? They
I
got
don't
hair
know. The Grudge.
everywhere.
The Grudge. Yeah, but the Grudge woman has one eye that you can see, but it's just
Yeah.
Samara who doesn't.
Yeah, Samara would just
That's
be tripping over everything, and yeah, 5-minute film done there.
Yeah. I think the thing is though, the Grudge, doesn't she have a tag team because she has Ju-on, the little boy, as well? So Samara's kind of outnumbered,
Yeah, take that, Samara.
and the cat.
The cat should be the hero. The
Yeah,
person you think is going to, be the hero isn't, and the cat just.
tag teamed it all out. Yeah. Red, did you have something more you wanted to add? Sorry.
No.
For me, I think religion. This is something I've always laughed about, is religion in horror films, because you do need it, because it's something that, especially as I said earlier with Britain, like religion isn't such a big thing for everyone. So it like gives that kind of separation from life. So you can see horror film as entertainment rather than real. But I think the worst ones that scare me are the ones that are like cult based, because they terrify me, because there are still cults today. But then I did laugh, and I used to say, if you weren't religious, does that mean you're exempt from dying in a horror film? Because if you're not religious and you don't have a crucifix, they don't come after you. Whereas in things like The Conjuring, they go after her because she has a crucifix. Like, so if you weren't religious, does that mean you survive?
As long as you're not the minority or the screaming girl, probably.
Yeah, you got like.
Yeah.
As
I
long
know
as you're
that
not-
sounds terrible, but
No, we got it. We got it.
maybe cut that out. But yeah, it's always a black dude who gets it first.
No, it's true though. I mean, like it's like part of the, and that needs to be probably addressed by somebody. Like obviously not
I
us.
think so
we're
too.
Yeah.
You know, but it is like the cliche. Like, I mean, Jesus, you could name just about any horror movie, and they always want to kill off like the black guy, or the Asian guy, or straight away.
Yeah,
Apart
like even in
from,
Aliens.
if you count it, yeah, but you've got the guy in Happy Death Day. If you count as a horror film, he's Asian. He survived. Then you've got the guy in Hostel. I think it was. He was Hispanic and he survived, but then he died in the next one. So I'm not really sure if it counts.
Well, that's good. I'm glad someone is doing it for them.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that always counts because they're not quite slasher films, so I'm not really well. Hostel is, but it's not so much. I think it's the same guy that survived in Hostel was the one who survived in Wolf Creek, actually. don't know.
Oh, Wolf Creek 2? Because I don't think there was any
No, I've only
Spanish
seen the first
characters.
one.
Oh.
I might just be making stuff up, to be fair, because I haven't watched it for a long time. 1 second.
Yeah, there was only the one
Did-
survivor, and it was male, unless he was Spanish. Don't know. Oh, and
Nah, I'm making
obviously,
it up. Never mind. Sometimes it happens.
yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, the best ones do involve religion because it's something a bit alien to me, and it definitely I think that's probably the reason I don't like going to churches because I'm scared like there's going to be some ghost or something in it.
I'd be scared of the priest.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I love everybody.
Well, this one's interesting. Okay, so switching from the screen media is favorite horror book. What is it about and why do you like it?
I don't know what the heck it comes down to your definition of a horror book, because I read. I mean, Lord of the Flies. That was for me. It wasn't really a horror book.
Brutal.
It was brutal. It was just so disgusting on so many levels. I know.
Yeah.
And the other one that I would suggest reading is like Macbeth by Shakespeare. Not because it's scary or even horrific, but it's horrific to read because you can't understand a damn thing they're saying. I was like, this is horror. This is torture.
Yeah, I do agree with Lord of the Flies, though. I think you can count as a horror because it's like a real life horror. Like if this happened, and how how animalistic and tribal they become. Oh, that scared me. Jude?
Yeah, I thought that was great. Look, I have to be honest. I don't read. I used to forge my mum's signature on my readers at primary school. But the first book I ever did actually read was Pet Sematary, and yeah, by Stephen King, and I enjoyed that much more than the films, I guess. And now, really, and that, yeah, that's Actually, I've read some other stuff as well, but in terms of horror, that's my one and only, baby.
Red?
I'm same with June. I don't really read much horror books. The last time I read a novel horror book was in 2018. It was a long time ago. But I really want to read back like a Stephen King mostly.
Yeah.
In the future.
He banged on a lot.
For me, yeah, yeah. I have read quite a lot of horror, but the problem with me is my memory is awful, so I don't actually remember all of them. I tend to read more like, when I do read them, I mean, I've read quite a few Stephen Kings, which I'll touch on in a minute, but most of the ones that I normally read are like mysteries in a way. I was gonna say murder mysteries. I suppose they are murder mysteries, but not like the kind where you sit around for dinner and someone dies like Cluedo. But like Yeah, I read more like criminal stuff, but then
True crime.
I've read.
Is it true crime sort of stuff?
Yeah, I suppose, because then I can relate a bit more to it. But I have read some really good other ones, but I just cannot remember them off the top of my head. But then I do remember, and I know that this is going to be controversial because I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I read Cell by Stephen King, and for some reason that's always stuck with me, because there is one line in it that just always stuck with me, and it's from like one of the young, it's like a little girl that says, you should never assume, because assuming makes an ass of you and me. And I know that's like a quote from someone else, but it's just the context in the book where it's used was so hard hitting. And it's just like the idea of, I suppose it goes with the like the Ring, and how, you know, she comes out of a TV, which is something you use every day and you don't think about it, and then you watch that film and it makes you think about it in a different way. It's like it all starts with obviously a cell phone, and it spreads this virus through a cell phone, and it was just done, like, it was just a clever idea. I'm not saying that the execution was perfect, but it's just the idea of it was really cool. I'm just looking at my bookshelf now, and I'm just like, there are a lot of other things I've read, but I think I have to go with the one that stood out to me the most, which was that one. But I also read another one which is about a school shooting, and it was a collection of short stories. It's all about the same school shooting, but it's like, I think 12 different perspectives of the same event, and that was quite cool. There is one chapter which was a bit strange because it was from the perception of the gun.
Oh wow.
It was different, but that was quite interesting. It was called Violent Ends. Again, not all of the stories in it were great, but there is I have a book that has, again, it's a lot of short stories by, I can't remember his name, Polutnik or something like that. And I was suggested it a long time ago by a friend who also was into horror as much as me. And it's a lot of short stories, and some of them are really dark and twisted. And I've been meaning to read it for so long, and I really need to get to it. I'm trying to remember what it's called now. Polutnik. That's just totally not what it's called. I'll remember it, and then I'll put it in later. But it's just, yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about how messed up the stories are. I did also read Rosemary's Baby, which I know is a film. I'm pretty sure it's a film, which I read a long time ago. And that was just really weird. It was cult based, so that creeped me out. But I don't know, I found it a bit more funny than scary. But it wasn't supposed to be, but I think it was just so out there. I was a bit like, okay.
I've been
But
going through Edgar Allan Poe's poem The Raven, and really getting into it and loving it. Yeah. And there's a really good book also if you like true crime. It's called I think it is actually called RedRare, and it's about John Douglas, the first profiler that there ever was in the States, going through these murders. It's nothing like nothing like the movie at all. But it's a really good book, really good read. Yeah, you look at everyone, acne, and who's driving a Volkswagen or a taxi or something very differently after that.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the books that I like, is the ones that make me think differently after reading them, because I know that it's had some kind of effect. I'm still trying to find that book, and I will carry on when I after I've said the next question, because it is a really good book and I just can't remember what it's called. So the next question, RedRare. No, did you? Yeah, you said yours, didn't you? Yeah. So the next one is, what is the function and meaning behind Gothic literacy? Which I guess you just touched on with Edgar Allan Poe, but yeah.
I think it's to inspire. Sorry, dudes.
Really, you think it's? Hold on. Firstly, as in what sense of inspiring?
Well, I mean, how many plays and movies are sort of based on that, on Gothic literature? Like all of them, aren't they?
I guess so. I mean, there's a lot of they do have a lot of influence.
because someone's knocking at his door, for example, and he doesn't know who it is, and it's nothing more, and that's sort of scary. Of course, now we just text people and hang up.
Yeah, that's the real horror. But yeah, no, I feel like Gothic literature, from a personal perspective, I think it's like the left field. I mean, there's so much writing style out there, which is just, I don't know, it's so ho hum, it's so ordinary. And then Gothic literature, anything that's kind of depraved or morbid, it I think it like it's definitely a niche, and because it's a niche, it speaks to the right people. Not every not everybody's going to get into it. So I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah.
For me, Gothic literature, I really don't know. I guess is to the person that reading it. Like, what are their emotion when reading it? Like, are there fear of this certain thing when they read it? Like, I really don't know.
Yeah, I think I agree with Adam in the fact that that it's a niche. Like, I think it was Adam or Jude that said it. But yeah, I think it's just a certain type of audience that it's reaching for. I mean, I don't know if I've read it or not, or I don't know what counts as Gothic literacy, really. Is it just like, I don't know. Now I just sound
Yeah, I'd
stupid.
have to Google that.
Like, yeah, hold on. What is it? Oh, I'm still trying to find that bloody book.
But if you're
I'm gonna give up on that.
if you're studying literature at uni, you'd have to study Gothic literature, surely. Like, it would be a base of everything.
Oh, like, okay. I
Literature.
have a bit
I
more
don't know.
of an idea now. So, what counts as Gothic fiction books is things like from the Bronte sisters, Dracula by Bram Stoker. You've got Frankenstein, Jane Eyre, yeah, Charlotte Bronte, Wuthering Heights, Picture of Dorothy, Picture of Dorian Gray, Northanger Abbey, so Jane Austen, The Turn of the Screw, The Haunting of Hill House, which obviously is now the TV show on Netflix. The Woman in Black, which I've seen in theatre. I haven't read it. Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo.
Ah,
The Shining by Stephen King is apparently Gothic fiction as well. So
really?
and Salem's Lot as well. Yeah, I think. Oh, and Vampire Lestat. So I think it's because it's given such a title, you don't realize that you've read it or, touched on it without having some kind of clarification. So I know quite a lot of those, but I mean, a lot of them I watched in film version rather than reading them. Or yeah, I think I normally just wait for the adaptation. I mean, I do read a lot, but that takes more time. As sometimes because I struggle with dyslexia as well, it's easier for me, especially when they're written in not a different language, but obviously a different style. I find it hard to take in as much. So I think functionally, I don't know. It must be to entertain and like to transport someone to a world that gives them some kind of reaction.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, actually. It almost seems like it serves the same purpose as science fiction in the sense that it's like almost completely fantasy.
Yeah. I don't know if it goes much deeper than that.
When I was reading,
No, carry on.
sorry, when I was reading the Edgar Allan Poe poetry for Raven, I had to actually look up some of the words because I just had no idea what they meant. It's just interesting, I think.
I think that's what I struggle with though, because if I have to like keep going backwards and forwards to know what a word means, it takes me out of the story. And when I'm reading, I like to be immersed in the story and I don't like to have to keep coming out of it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it's not even one of those things where it would change if they rewrote it, because it's still a classic in its own sense. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was words like "cease," which is cease, but I needed to check on that to make sure I was right. And what else was there? Yeah, a lot of tizzes, entreating, which are hard to say if you're saying entreating entrance at my chamber door. Say that fast 5 times.
I'll pass because I know I'll trip over the first one. Okay, so the next question is Is Gothic horror still relevant? I think we've basically touched on that anyway. I think it does form like some kind of foundation for where horror films can still touch base on, so that it sticks with tradition.
Yeah, I feel like it probably is still relevant, but it's probably a dying media since most things are published on some seedy Reddit forum and then Netflix picks it up. So yeah, I feel like it's relevant, but who knows for how long.
I think it's relevant. I think that people will go back and read and study Gothic literature. I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's a course at uni after your arts degree. And yeah, just a base of how to construct a Gothic novel. I think it's totally relevant. Yeah. I don't know why though. I just do.
Red?
Yeah, I guess it's depend on the people. If some people think it's relevant and some don't. Depend on people. If they want to read more of the Gothic literature, I guess it's still relevant. But some do think that Gothic horror is dying a little bit. Because who's reading
Don't say that. Sorry.
it's dying.
Good
like-
horror film is probably dying at that.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think if you went back into this Gothic literature, it improved the way you write, the way you tell a story, give you ideas. I think it's relevant for that sense. I hope we never lose those
Yeah,
things.
I think it's for the future that people that are going on to be a writer, I guess, or mostly in horror.
Yeah. I think with things like that, I mean, it's the same with everything, even like things as like fashion, is there'll always be a resurgence, because there's always going to be people, as you say, whether you're doing literature or studying film. If you go into study, you're always taken back to the classics, so you have something to draw upon. So I feel like it will always be there. There'll always be a foundation of Gothic horror in, even something that's a really cheesy horror. There'll still be some element of Gothic horror there, because that's where people get inspired.
I agree.
So yeah, I think it is relevant. Okay. This is a bit of a deep question, I suppose. Would you rather be possessed, or would you rather be tortured?
Oh, Lordy.
I mean, how long are you I don't want to flesh this question out too much. How long am I being possessed for? And then for that matter, how long am I being tortured for? I think this is is it like a realistic amount of time, or is it like I'll be possessed forever, I'll be tortured forever?
All right, let's take it in the same kind of time frame as The Exorcist, because that's what I'm going to draw on, because we've already touched based on that before, and put it against tortured. Has everyone seen Wolf Creek?
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'd say, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say, okay, so the possession of the Exorcist against being kidnapped and tortured by some crazy man in a shed somewhere for a few weeks for the same length of time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with possession. That sounds like a pretty groovy time to me. If you're a narcissist, like, I'm not saying I'm a narcissist, but if I was a narcissist, all these people like paying attention to me, it's just golden.
Oh lordy, I think I agree. I would rather be possessed. That sounds like way more fun than being tortured by.
For me, I think I will go with possessed, but either way, you're gonna die. Either way. In possess, I guess your spirit will be taken, I guess, and you will die, or you'll be tortured to death. So either way, I think I'm gonna go with possess.
Okay, what if I changed it and said you survive both?
Then I kill myself.
Sounds like a glass half empty kind of guy.
I don't think you have that choice if you're possessed, though, do you?
Then I just kill myself. Oh shit! Sorry.
Looks like you made your decision already before any of this.
That's his answer to everything. I just kill myself.
I think I would say possessed, but then at the same time, if I was possessed, I might hurt other people. Whereas if I'm being tortured, at least it's only me that's getting hurt.
Well, that's
So
a very
it's kind of a tough one.
attitude.
Yeah. You need some more
Yeah, I'd take everyone down. Take the priest down. Learn some Latin.
Yeah, like, I
throw
mean,
up some veggies.
because with torture as well, obviously, you know, they're going to drag it out and they're going to make it hurt. Whereas possession, it's like, it's kind of the easy way because you don't really, you might feel it, but you're not really conscious of it. But then at the same time, it's like, it reminds me of the hypnotism side of stuff from Get Out, where obviously he is conscious that he is being manipulated mentally, but he can't do anything about it. And that would suck. But then I suppose possession and torture is basically the same thing. You're still being tortured in a way. Possession is still torture. So, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be tortured, but I also wouldn't want to hurt other people and not be able to do anything about it, and then have to live with that as well. Because if you survive and then you kill all your family, well, it sucks for you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Who's going to do the grocery shopping?
I know, I need my ice cream. I think that's quite unanimous in the possession. Definitely unanimous in the possession side. Right. Film in review. Oh, look, we're back to The Exorcist. Okay, what is your opinion on The Exorcist?
God. Well, I think it's just
God isn't with you here.
God, okay, I had to check over my shoulder. Yeah, I think it's a pretty
I'm right here.
excellent film. Okay. You know, I think I'm so glad, or at least I'm unaware of any remakes being made, because I don't think they do a lot of justice for such a fantastic film. And the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has taken notice of that soundtrack, but absolutely gorgeous. Tubular Bells. I highly recommend that album. And the movie's
The
fine.
first thing I learned on keyboard.
Oh, really? That's fantastic.
Can't play it now, but still.
I'd be too scared to listen to that album. It would bring up too many memories. That's one of my favorite films, and yeah, I don't think I could listen. Maybe as a ringtone, I could definitely have that. But
Well,
yeah,
actually,
it's
I think-
brilliant. If you Google, because James Blatty wrote the screenplay, and I think they wrote a book originally. He's done like a small doco on exorcisms that you should be able to find on Netflix. So yeah, if you Google that, it's quite interesting because he's allowed to sit in on an actual exorcism. It's in Italy, I believe, and he films it, and some of the noises that come out of this woman are really hard to explain. The rest of it you could explain by, psychosomatic or a mental illness, but yeah, it's really interesting.
Sounds fascinating.
I gotta
Sounds terrifying.
say I never watched this movie.
Oh,
I know.
blasphemy!
I really want to watch it, but then I got busy with other stuff, and what did I want to do? So I usually forget. But
There's
usually
no
I
excuse.
usually I see some clips from YouTube's, and I really want to watch it. And since I'm in a holiday right now, I guess I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
Hey!
Yes, a matter of urgent. It has.
Definitely do that. But I just need to clarify because I've seen two different versions of this film. One I think was the edited version, which is I need to clarify whether this was the edited version or whether it was the original because it made me laugh so much and it wasn't supposed to be funny. But basically, there was moments when this face would flash on the screen. Does anyone else remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
I think I might. Was it a black? Shiza. What was the face supposed to do? It was the devil, wasn't
I
it?
think it just I think that's what it was. Like I'm gonna try and find a picture of
It
it
might-
because
It would have been the unedited or extended version, I think.
I think that might have been it. Like because I just remember, oh my god, there it is. Oh, that's scary. That is actually scary. Right. So this face kept popping up on the screen. And it just I mean, it was meant to be scary, but it just kept I kept laughing. I don't know whether it was like nervous laughter. It might have been nervous laughter. But I don't remember watching it the very first time I watched it because it's like I said earlier about being taken out of the film. It kept doing that. Open image in new tab. Right, there it is. If it starts moving, I think I might poop myself. Right, there we go. I'll put it in there. So that's the face that kept popping up on the screen. I'll just put that in general. Do you remember it?
I think I do remember this.
Shit, sorry.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And it was just like flashing.
Yeah, it just like popped up every now and again, and I think it might have been when it was like the closer she was getting to being like completely messed up. I'm not really sure, but I thought I was going insane because I was like, I really don't remember that the first time I watched it. But then it might have been the extended because then the second time I watched it, she did the crab walk down the stairs, and the crab walk wasn't in the original because that was a deleted scene.
Right. Okay. This is interesting. I have to have a look at this because.
But maybe they took it out because it was like a typical jump scare. But then back then, jump scares weren't typical, so I don't really know.
My lord.
Is Jude still there? Oh no. Oh, I heard scuffling.
But yeah, I do think that Exorcist is a great story. Obviously, especially at the time, because I remember my parents saying when they watched it back in the day, it was terrifying. And I feel like it would have been the same kind of atmosphere as when we went to see Paranormal Activity for the first time. And I know everyone has a different reaction to that, but that atmosphere in the cinema, I just knowing that that's probably what the Exorcist was. And as well, like the ages for films are a lot lower now than they were back then. So The Exorcist would have been an 18. Whereas now, if The Exorcist came out, it'd probably be 15.
Yeah, probably. You're right. Then again,
Have you
there
seen
was-
Exorcist? Oh,
No, go for it.
sorry. Have you seen Exorcist 3? Like Exorcist 2? Dumpville, don't
No,
even
I-
bother.
That's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Exorcist.
3. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Like in a good way, or
Oh yeah, it's scary as hell.
Wait,
I don't
there's
know if
more
you're
Um,
being
than that?
sarcastic or not.
No, it's brilliant. Like, oh, no. Don't watch number 2. Watch number 3.
Right, okay. I'll add that
Yeah,
to my
it's
list as
really
well.
good. Very, very good.
You know, The
Okay.
Exorcist had some fantastically vulgar language, which, if I recall right, the the girl who was playing the lead role in The Exorcist in the original, she said all those lines, and I don't think she was allowed to watch the film. Like, when it was actually released, she was told, "No,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, you're allowed to make the film, you're just not allowed to watch it."
She didn't
That's
know what
fine.
the words meant, though. She, she was saying all those words, and she really had no idea what it all meant.
She literally could have been calling like a demon into her body, like for real.
Oh,
But
She
there's
could
like
have-
which is something that we could probably touch on in a different episode, is the when there's that rumor that horror film sets can be cursed.
Oh yeah.
yeah, they said that about The Exorcist too, didn't they? With the random fires and
Yeah, because didn't someone die?
illness.
And someone died on the set of The Crow, and someone died on the set of
Yes.
Poltergeist.
Oh, the Poltergeist, though. Everybody died from Poltergeist. I mean, I don't know if you guys know about that. It's like what was it? It was like multiple cast members died over the years from like just horrible shit. Casting
Really?
directors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this ongoing thing that like everybody who was on that film set just got really ill.
Yeah, that was it. They got ill from something, didn't they?
Yeah, it's scary.
But there was no evidence of it ever being on the set or anything like that that could do that to them. And then it was all like linked back to people that had been on the set. It was really strange. I'll see if we can add that to a topic next
That's
time. But yeah,
fascinating, isn't it?
yeah. It'll give me some more time to look into it as well, because I know that it happened on quite a few different sets. Okay, so the next question is: are exorcisms now a trope?
Yes, I guess they've probably been commercialized into. I mean, like, who knows what an actual exorcism looks like? Like, what's the real deal?
Yeah.
From a film perspective, we've got an idea, and it's very very colorful in some way or another. But what it's actually is, I mean, I wouldn't have any idea because I've never really thought about looking it up. But I'm sure it's a totally different outlook than what we've seen on screen. So in that sense, yes, I think it's a trope in some roundabout sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've watched a lot of documentaries on the paranormal and exorcisms, etc. The priest that does the John Bloody series, he sort of said, well, look, these things do happen individually. They don't all happen at once. But of course, you got to make it entertaining. So, whack in as much crazy stuff as you can, I think. And some exorcisms are just people praying over another person for a long period. There's obviously priests involved and things like that. Yeah. So I think you have to ham it up, don't you? Otherwise it'd be boring.
Oh, absolutely.
Red?
Yeah, so exorcism for me, I guess, let's see. For me, it's kind of true, I guess. For like in Malaysia, we have shamans that are basically doing a lot of stuff to other people unknowingly. People don't know what's gonna happen to them. So yeah, I think it is true for exorcism.
Okay. Hmm. I think I really don't know, because we don't have such a culture about it here. But it's definitely one of those things that it features a lot in horror films, and I think I brought this up last week as well, with like a lot of the scary kind of found footage, if you like, tends to be in horror films. It tends to be exorcisms. Like I think it was the same in The Conjuring. I think it was The Conjuring when it had the Warrens and they had the found footage of, what was it, Insidious? No, I think it was Conjuring, and they had that found footage of Vera Fargara or whatever her name is. I can't say it. And Farmagara. Basically the main woman, and then she had that found footage of when she did the exorcism, and I found that quite scary because it looked so real. So I think in that sense, like, exorcisms are a trope because it's guaranteed to make people feel uncomfortable to watch it. So in that sense, I think it is a trope. Yeah.
Do you think we could ask Lorraine Warren on the show?
Didn't she
I would
die
love
last
that.
year?
Did she?
I'm pretty
Oh my
sure she died.
God, I know Ed's passed away.
On 1 second.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, it was. Yeah, she died in 2006 apparently.
Where have I been?
Oh no, that was Ed. Yep, I just typed in Lorraine. I didn't ask about Ed. No offense, Ed. Apparently they only come as a couple. Oh, there we go. Yeah, she died last year, 18th of April, 2019.
Really?
Yeah, because I think that
I
was
didn't even
one
know.
of the films that came out, and I looked into talking to them actually just to find out more. Because she was definitely alive when The Conjuring came out in 2013, because she did all the interviews and stuff. So maybe it was The Nun. Was it The Nun that came out in 2019? Oh, that was 2018. All right, never mind. But yeah, no, I think it had just been after or around one of the films, and then she died.
Oh wow.
But yeah, unfortunately, no, we can't invite her because she's not around anymore.
Well, could do it.
She has a daughter though.
Yeah, her name's Judy, actually.
Yeah. I bet she looks like Annabelle.
Yeah. Because I had that whole room full of possessed dolls and items. So and they said they had to bless it, I think, once a month. So I wonder whose job that is now.
A lot.
Yeah.
That's probably why so much crap has happened, because now they're both dead. People are like, oh yeah, it was all a lie, so we're just going to leave it. And that's, oh my God, maybe that's where coronavirus came from. But nah, that would be interesting to talk to someone who actually works in the profession. Maybe we could look into that. But yeah, the next question is, well, I think we kind of touched on it at the beginning, but the question is, do you believe that exorcisms have actually happened in real life, but do they still happen now?
The question? Well, yes. Same answer as before.
Yeah. Just please the above. I'm the same.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Yes, I do, and yes to the other question.
Should rituals continue to be used
in horror films?
That's literally what the question says. Should rituals continue to be used? But guessing that it comes after real life and exorcisms, I'd guess it means in real life. Because obviously I think it's probably based on the fact that you get people that think that someone's like possessed, and then they end up hurting them by trying to exorcise them.
I'm a fairly down-to-earth human. So from where I stand, I've seen a lot of traditional rituals not be able to comprehend modern existence, and because of that they don't fare very well with logic, modern logic. So I'm just going to take a hard no. I'm not going to be on the fence about this. I'm just going to say that
But in real life, no, they should be used anymore in this era. If there is still ritual that's happened like dark arts or black magics anywhere in the world, people are gonna find out and probably gonna destroy that, change the people that are trying to do the ritual. Because basically in my place, like black magic, we're mostly calling the dead or angering the spirits.
Yeah.
So in this lesson, don't disrespect the dead.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like, whether you believe it or not, you're still tempting fate. That's how I see it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like, why would you tempt something that could happen, even if you don't think it will? But maybe that's just me. Yeah, carry
Rituals
on.
kind of play a part of everyday life, and yeah, I just think if it makes somebody happy, you know, what's the problem with it? Because I was working in mental health once, and we had this schizophrenic patient who was telling me that every time she shuts her eyes, she sees these symbols, and she looked up the symbols, and they were Latin. And I sort of thought, well, what's the big deal with, maybe taking her to a church and seeing if that works for her, whether she'd be exorcised from a demon or it would just, help her mental health. I didn't see anything sort of wrong with that. Yeah, and so there's rituals around that. I think
That's so interesting.
we do things ritually every day, and brushing our teeth or if the person believes in it and it makes them happy and it does some good, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't harm someone else.
Exactly. Like I wouldn't allow a Ouija board in my home, for example. Like I'm scared shitless of those.
Yeah. Me too.
And I wouldn't, I don't know, sacrifice a chicken or on anyone's behalf. But yeah, if it helps a person, give it a crack.
See, that's something that I've always considered as well, because it's like with schizophrenia, and because I have a member in my family that has it as well. And it's like, what if they're just seeing the world differently to us? Maybe there isn't anything wrong with them. Maybe there is just something that we can't see. And I don't just mean in the terms of mental health. I mean, what if they have seen something that they shouldn't have seen? And I'm not saying that's obviously true, but I mean, like, if you were to flip it on its on its side, for example, my relative used to say that they saw people in their room that weren't there. But then, who are we to say that they're not there? If they can see them, they're real to them. Just because we can't, it doesn't mean that it's not real. So that's something that, if I wasn't so scared of like mental asylums and hospitals, then I would love to work with people to try and understand like what they
They're not that
see.
scary. Yeah.
Again, it's
dementia's
the
a really good
perception though,
example.
isn't it?
Yeah. Dementia is a really good example of that as well. People will see cats, dogs, people, yeah, you name it. And in the past, the way we were taught to deal with it was to just try and bring them back to reality. But now it's, you try and appease them, and it's go, oh, I saw a cat, that's really great, because I mean, yeah, and I think you need to have an open mind to saying, well, hang on, who's to say they're not seeing what they're seeing?
Yeah, exactly. They just might be seeing something that we can't. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. The next question is, and again, I guess I think we've touched on it as well, is there any exorcism or rituals that are used in your religion?
In my religion? Or everyone's religion?
I suppose so.
Your religion.
It says yours specifically.
Yeah, it does say your. Well, I'm going to take it.
The religion of plant.
Oh, I know. It's a dangerous one. Well,
yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna just say yes because it sounds trendy, and I'm not gonna make any other comment on it.
Yeah.
Just let that linger.
Full disclosure. So I have the religion of Jude, and I'm yet to have my public holidays be approved, but there's going to be plenty of those. No, I don't know. I don't really have any rituals, but I have a crucifix. I don't wear it all the time. My mum's right into Wicca at the moment. She's being nuts about it. I think maybe celebrating the seasons and celebrating karma is my ritual. And just treating
Yeah.
others the way you want to be treated, so that it hopefully comes back to you.
100%.
Bit of
So
Jewish.
Red, sorry.
Sorry, I do try and buy kosher.
I was gonna say because sorry, go ahead.
No, so I just do try and buy meat that is kosher or halal, just so that the animal's been blessed before it dies.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's something I'd like to touch on at another time as well, is that. But yeah, Red, you have you've mentioned before obviously that you have black magic in not specifically with you, but that encompasses is part of your religion. So you might have a wider understanding of this kind of question.
Not really. I'm not really you see this religion type of person, but this is a story mostly told to us when we were young, to by our grandparents, by that, to warn us about the spirits.
Okay.
So basically, there's like a bomb or a shaman in Malaysia where they will worship the like iblis, shaitan, anything like satanic stuff, and they will do it for either gaining for themselves or for misfortune to the others.
Okay. So there's a lot in that religion that is like, is it like curse based? So it's wanting wishing bad omens on someone else, basically.
Yep. Or you know, like good stuff to the other person, like being
Okay.
rich or live longer, like that. But
Okay. That's interesting.
yeah, but
How do
you
I
have
put
to.
a curse on my ex? That's what I want to know.
Well,
Can
let's
I
see.
do
You have
that?
to. Well, you see, you have to gather some law stuff, and it's kind
Oh,
of
really?
dangerous. Yeah,
Oh,
you
I can't be bothered with that.
may lose your life, so better not do that.
Yeah, as long as it wouldn't come back on me, that's that. I wouldn't want that.
It is kind of important. If you fail when doing this ritual, something like that, you may die, or the evil spirit will kill you either any other way.
Yeah, I don't want to
Oh,
die.
that's
So.
too much of a risk.
Oh boy. Maybe I'll just buy a doll.
Somebody needs to build like a McDonald's of black magic. So it's just like easy, convenient. Just go in, come out, done.
Yeah, well, can I get that Ubered, please?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
My mum thinks she's done a curse, but yet to see the outcome of that. I'll let you know.
Jeez. I don't really take part in any kind of religious stuff, so I can't really comment on that. So I'll move on to the next question. Are people addicted to fueling hysteria?
Yes. And what's even more shocking is that I am hysterical about people who are addicted to hysteria. I think it's great. It's a bit meta, but I just love it. I like watching like news and just seeing people go ape shit about dumb things, and I just think it's just fantastic. And especially like the hysteria, like it depends on what hysteria you're talking about. Like some people really get into those cheap magazines you see at the news agency that are like, woman gives birth to, two-headed baby, and one of the baby's heads is a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is gorgeous. Makes no sense. It's garbage. And people really get all worked up about it. So yes, I think they're addicted to it, and that's why we've got so much media which relies on being so extreme every hour of the day.
100%.
I agree. I agree with that, and also enjoy standing at the supermarket and reading those crazy stories. I think people just love being, I don't know, like we just need more and more, and people are so enthused about stupid things like, the Kardashians and things like that. I don't get it, I don't get it. Even my daughter, bought that lipstick, and it's like she has her lips done, and she made like how many billions of dollars of it. I just think we're crazy, aren't we, really? And then we die.
I know, isn't it lovely? Like how we've developed. We're like, this is the absolute cream of evolution. We've gotten to the top, guys.
Yeah, it's not just like, why make stupid people famous?
Because it makes you feel better about yourself, except they are actually doing better than you, which is such a weird circle of events.
Yeah, look, I don't watch it, fortunately.
I don't even know who they are.
You don't? Oh, that's good.
Red?
Yeah.
I guess for me, hysteria is like where you gonna say this? A crazy person, mostly emotional unstable. Anyway, so but it is different if your hysteria in like spirits possess you, or hysteria in you mess up in the head. There's a difference.
Yeah. I 100% agree with what Adam said earlier about people reading those magazines and stuff. Like, even I've done it before when I've read something, and I think it was one of those stories that always resurfaces every year on Facebook about in Britain, about how there's a killer spider that was found in a bush, and how now we're all gonna die and stuff like that. Like, it happens every single year, and I'm terrified of spiders, so obviously that scares me, and then I don't go out anymore because I'm like, nah, that's it, this is the end. So I do think it is something that people do get addicted to, because they don't want life to be boring. They don't want it to be pedestrian. They don't want to believe that this is it. So they believe that something else is happening. They like to cause the drama to believe that their life is more than it is. Because we are a generation where we have Netflix and Amazon Prime, and we want to watch all these TV shows. We are open to the world's stories. So we don't want to be contained in just our simple little life. We want to be encompassed in the world. And that's why people, I think, get addicted to hysteria.
It keeps your brain moving as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Those conspiracy theorists, now COVID is a conspiracy theory, and 9/11 was a conspiracy, and I just think people like to investigate their neurons firing, I guess.
Yeah. There's some pictures or some links about the dancing plague of 1518. I'm not really sure what we need to discuss about this. So I guess it was just an example of fueling hysteria about how, I think it was that one person ended up dancing on the street, and then people said that it was it's more like now people are circulating that it was a dancing plague, but then back then, like, the facts or the statistics didn't match up, so it was more like that was the example of fueling hysteria when that's not exactly how it happened. So I think that's what the dancing plague is to do with.
I think I had a case of what was it called? It's like mass psychogenic illness. That sounds correct. It sounds
That's it, yeah.
But yeah, no,
It
people
sounds hot.
usually in like times of extreme stress, like when a country's at war or something's going on.
Yeah.
Multiple big large groups of people go into laughing. I think the laughing epidemic's there, yeah. Laughing
Yeah.
epidemic that happened. There was a dancing plague. I think there was also very recently, or at least in the last 10 years, there was a group of people at a university who all started showing signs of Tourette's. And, it was a very bizarre thing for it to end up happening like that. So I think it's just a symptom of mass stress that everybody experiences this. Crazy.
Yeah. She's moved herself to another podcast channel, but hopefully she'll be back soon.
Thank goodness.
Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, I've got to stop fiddling around.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we'll go on to that bit. We were just talking about the mass Jesus, I cannot say it. My mass psychogen. Do you know what? That one.
Is that like a flash mob?
Yes.
Mass
Yeah.
psychogenic illness.
Wouldn't that
That's
be
what I tried to
fascinating?
say, but it just didn't come out. It's like I don't know. The laughter epidemic sounds fun though.
Yeah. I mean, that's a skeptic's answer to everything, isn't it? You know, it's a mass hysteria. Like the Mothman.
Yeah.
You know, a whole bunch of people apparently saw that. That just doesn't make sense for them to be all around the world. I guess if you're in the one place, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's like, I know it's a bit unrelated, but it's like when people say about alien abduction, and yet you've still got so many people that vouch for it, but then so many people don't believe it because they weren't there, and everyone sounds crazy and stuff. So it's a hard one because no one really knows the truth. And then if they did experience that, what exactly did they experience? Because we can't go back to see it for ourselves. It's very strange. But yeah, Red, what do you think about the dancing plague and the laughter epidemic?
I'm not really sure. I'm not from there, so I don't really know much. But I guess it's like a story for the future generation to remember what's gonna happen if you're not gonna take care of yourself or others mostly.
Yeah. So like more like a moral lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, the next one is 1665. So the plague. Why were cats and dogs blamed for spreading the plague at the time?
Oh, I know why. I think. Wasn't it due to
Yeah.
fleas? They assumed it was fleas?
Yeah.
That sounds like a better answer than I was gonna say. I was gonna say like, you blame the dog. You blame the dog for farting. It just makes sense that you would blame it for a plague.
What about the cat
Yes.
though?
That's just like a secondary victim. It just he was there.
Domestics, animals,
Exactly.
isn't it?
Are we just gonna blame the dog on this? Come on.
It is, I don't know, because for me, I was always told it was rats. I didn't know it was cats and dogs, so I don't know whether that's changed, because I was talking to Dragon about this last week, and he said it was cats and dogs, and obviously there's an age gap between us, so I don't know whether I was told it was rats, and maybe it's changed with the generational thing to say that it was cats and dogs, but I was told it was rats, so I don't
I
know.
heard it was rats. I heard it was rats as well, and the fact that didn't they put like feces and things just in the gutters back then too?
Yeah.
Is this the Black Plague we're talking about?
I think that
don't
was
know
the
if-
first one, which was a bit earlier. Let me just double check. 1665 plague.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look.
This is the Great Plague of London, which is the bubonic plague, and I think the Black Death was the one before.
Mm.
Let me just
Okay.
double check. I
Well,
should
that
know
was
because I
our last.
literally went into it the other week.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up now. It says here was our last major epidemic of bubonic.
Yeah, so
bubonic
the Black
plague.
Plague, oh sorry, the Black Death was in 1346. So this
Bloody
one was
hell.
later.
Uh,
Maybe it was Cats and Dogs for the second one, because I only looked at the Black Death recently. So maybe it was Cats and Dogs for the second one, but I still think it was rats when I was told, but
What I'm
that was a
seeing
long
here is
time
that
ago.
rats and cats were blamed for the plague and were killed in the Middle Ages, but the disease was mainly spread from person to person via fleas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, did you hear in regards to COVID? I think it was in China. A rumor went out that you could get it from your cat or your dog, and so everyone started dumping their animals on the street.
Jesus.
I can't remember what country.
They need to stop blaming animals and realize animals are innocent, and if they have done anything, it's probably because you've allowed them to. Like,
Well, yeah,
ah.
it's idiotic, isn't it?
It's just like, all right, so if you found out that your daughter, for example, had was carrying the plague, you're not exactly going to shove her out on the street, are you? No. So why is it okay to do it to your pets? Like,
Mm,
doesn't make sense.
yeah, yeah. So I just thought I'd put that in for you.
But yeah, I mean, strange.
Uh,
I mean, Red, do you have any input in this?
no, because this is like a different story from like a different place, so I really don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
rat, not cat and dogs. Because
Yeah, that's what I thought.
what I heard is from rats, not from cats and dogs. Unless their feces are or dead corpse of their bodies, like
Yeah.
spreading, spreading to the air and getting to the people, I guess.
Yeah, because I think it's only just come out recently that because this is a news article, and again, I don't know the difference really, apart from the time between the Black Death and the bubonic plague. Obviously, there's a difference, and now I sound stupid again. But I know that it was they said it was the rats, but it was actually the fleas on the rats. So again, it would probably be the same thing with cats and dogs. It would be people
Yeah.
blaming the animals, but it's actually the fleas that they're carrying. But I'm not sure if back then they had the kind of medicine that we have now
No.
to get rid of fleas. So
I couldn't imagine a lot of them would have pets either, would they?
I was thinking that as well, because
what
no
sort
one
of
was rich
dog
enough
eats
to have
dog,
them.
Buckers? Yeah, yeah. How would you feed them? You'd feed your kids before you'd have anything left over
Yeah,
for an animal, which is not great to say either.
like you'd have like the stray dog on the street, but they wouldn't be so much pets. They would just follow you around, I suppose, and it would only be the rich that would have them, unless they were
Yes.
used in a job like hunting dogs or something. But again, that would be the upper class. So I'm not really sure. You can't really blame an upper class dog, can you? Like, I don't know.
No.
But they used to say that it was when shipments were being transferred from one country to another, or even within the same country, that the rats would travel on the boats. So that's
Yes.
why. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
that was a bit of a random question, to be honest. But yeah, the next one is, what would you rather have your kids love reading scary stories to tell in the dark, or a Stephen King book?
Oh, Stephen King. I mean, he is. I mean, the guy's a creep apparently, but his literature is a classic. You know, all his work is
Yeah.
so well constructed, or at least usually it is. It's give or take a few crappy stories in between, but no, I'm all for Stephen King.
Yeah.
What was the first part to what?
Would you rather have your kids love reading scary stories to tell in the dark, or a Stephen King book? That was my fault. I didn't say it properly.
No, not at all. Gee, I don't know. I think I think I'd like it if they told scary Stephen King stories in the dark. That would be fun. You've got to entertain your friends, when you're having that sleepover, and tell a scary story. You've got to have something up your sleeve, I think.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm on the fence with that one.
Well, for me, I'm gonna go with scary stories, unfortunately, because from my grandparents told me a lot of scary stories from the Putiana, Pochong, a lot of really horror type ghosts or spirits to, I guess, warn us from what's gonna happen if you stay late in the night.
Yeah. I guess when you pass stories down, there's more of a personal feel to it, and you can make it your own. And it's one of those things that you can like over a campfire, or when you go away on a school trip or something, then you've got that to kind of make you feel a bit more easy about being away from home when you're a kid, I suppose. But if I had like a 4-year-old kid that could read a Stephen King book, I'd be pretty damn happy. But I think Stephen King has actually started to write children's books, hasn't he?
Oh, that's a good way to go. Jesus Christ. I like that.
I'm sure his last book that he brought out was a kid's book.
I would not trust that. Like, I'm just saying it now. It sounds dangerous.
My grandma used to tell stories about because they grew up in Hungary in Europe, and they would say they sort of believed in vampires and werewolves and things. And some of the stories that we would get told was one time Grandma was walking down the fields, and they found a bicycle with nothing but 2 feet in it, and they believed that it was the werewolf or Dracula or something like that. But it was probably I don't know, a bear or something. Yeah, I love stories like that. I think that's cool.
I think I was wrong. I thought it was for kids, but it's actually not. Oh no, okay. It is about children, but it's not specifically for children. My mistake.
Alrighty.
It's called The Institute. I don't know if you've heard of it. I think it only came out either this year or last year. Last year, 10th of September last year.
You're correct. I just found apparently he wrote a children's book under a pen name. It's called Charlie.
Is it Beryl? Charlie the
Beryl.
Choo Choo.
Yeah, by Beryl Evans. It's actually Stephen King.
Oh, well. Charlie the Choo Choo looks terrifying, by the way. But yeah.
It does look terrifying.
I'm going to have to get The Institute because I've just seen that it's about kids with paranormal activities, and that is totally my thing. So. Okay. Would you rather... It's a lot of would you rathers. Would you rather guest star on your favourite horror movie, but there's a chance you could die, or stay safe on the couch? Wait, hold on. So, would you die as an actor, like as a real person, or would you just die in the film?
I don't know. That's a very open-ended question. I'm gonna say that it means you do die in real life.
Because why would you want to stay safe on the couch?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a very odd question.
Stuff.
Maybe we'll look at it as, you know what we were saying earlier about curses on film sets. So if we look at it like that, that might help.
That does help, actually.
Okay, so you can be in your favourite film, but there's a chance you could die because there's a rumour that there's a curse. Or would you want to just stay home and watch from the couch when it comes out?
I'm gonna go with being in the film more for that risky life. That's the way to go.
Yeah, I'm the same. As long as I could arsenal up, like I'm sure that's the word for it. I definitely want to be in it and screw the curse.
Yeah, I guess same for me. But can I go to Zombieland?
Yes.
Yes.
For me, I'm a bit of a pussy, so I would definitely. Well, okay. So if I was to play the role of someone like Samara, I would totally do it because go for it. If you're gonna curse me, fine, curse me. But for that, I've always wanted to play that kind of role. Because if I'm the person doing the terrorizing in a role, then that's cool. But if I'm the one being terrorized, I don't like that. So maybe I'll be that pussy that wants to stay safe on the couch. Unless it's good pay. If it's really good pay, then that changes things.
I would do it just for the credit.
It depends also what food they're giving to the cast while you're working.
Maybe that's how you die.
Maybe, but if it's a good veggie burger, then I'm down for that. Okay, would you rather wake up in the middle of the night to Pennywise or Chucky?
I'm gonna go with Chucky. I feel like Pennywise is way out of my league. I reckon a good whiff kick, good little like tap on Chucky's head. You know, just boot him out a window. He'll be fine. He's out of there.
Yeah, I agree. Unless Pennywise was down the drain, I wouldn't want to take on that freaky thing. I would not want to. Yeah, he's scary as, and I reckon I could just drop kick Chucky, throw him in the microwave, and off he goes.
Yes.
For me, I'm gonna go with a risk and go with Pennywise because I haven't feel that horror shock in me in a long time. I haven't been scared in a long time, really.
Okay, so you want to be scared.
I look dead, like really dead, like no emotion right now.
Okay, we'll send Pennywise your way then. It depends on the context for me, because if I like wake up to Pennywise and he's proper chill and he wants to just chill out and make friends, I'm totally down for that. Because one, it's one of the Skarsgård brothers, and two, he's pretty cool if like he's your friend because you can like terrorize other people. But then if he's like there to like kill me, then yeah, I'm gonna take Chucky because even though I'm only 5 foot myself, I still think I've got a better chance against Chucky.
Did anyone see the prank? What do they call the bus stop pranks of Chucky when?
Yes. Oh my
they're
god.
so good.
Oh, that made me laugh so much.
I know.
That was
There's
amazing.
nothing funnier. And it's funny because, like, the fight or flight thing, and then I think there's probably one guy that just goes bunch.
Yeah, but the amount of people that stack it running away, that's just hilarious. I do feel bad for the people that lose like the lunch that they've just bought though.
There.
It's like, oh, there goes my
shit.
burger. Okay.
Sorry.
Would you
That was me.
rather? That's all right. Would you rather have a pumpkin for a head or knives for hands?
I'm gonna say Pumpkinhead. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. Either way, you're a sideshow freak, aren't you? Yeah, I'm gonna go pumpkin as well.
For me, I'm gonna go with knives.
Okay. So are these knives interchangeable? Like, can I detach them and put different fun things on there, or?
Can't put
Not really
eyeliner
sure.
or mascara.
That's true. Although if you like have like a grippy knife, then maybe, or if you have like magnetic eyeliner, then you're pretty much good to go.
Like a Swiss Army knife fingers. Like can opening.
Yeah. So basically, am I Edward Scissorhands or am I like cooler?
Cooler than Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, because he just went around and made bushes into pretty shapes, which was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I could be like the next generation and have like a corkscrew and I don't know, a nail file and a bottle opener and I don't know, things that make me useful.
If you had a TV remote on one of those, I think you'd be pretty popular.
Yeah. I don't know. I think at least if you had a pumpkin for a head, you'd always be healthy.
Not at Halloween.
I don't know. Yeah, but what size pumpkin is it? I don't know. I'm not sure if orange is really my color. I said, oh my god, yes. But then I'd have to put like a red hat on, and then I'd literally be like red, amber, green. Yeah,
Love
I'll
it.
take a pumpkin head. Yeah. All right, next question. Would you rather watch the tape from The Ring or have to say Candyman in front of a dark mirror 3 times?
Again,
I put 3 times because that's what you need to do, and not just Candyman.
Oh yeah, you see. No, I'd go with Candyman because I feel like, because he's a human man, and I feel like
Yeah.
in the time of COVID, I assume he's very susceptible to COVID. So, in the chance that I have COVID, I'd get like the last laugh. I'd just cough on him and it'd be done. I'd be like, good.
Are you saying he's over 70?
He might be, Jesus.
Oh no, she's gone again.
Oh.
Oh, she's back again.
Oh, I keep playing
what?
around. I've got this echo. It's so annoying. I missed out on that, didn't I?
You just literally, it's your turn to answer the question anyway, so you're fine.
I'm still thinking about pumpkin heads and Donald Trump, like he's got a pumpkin head and he's done all right. And he's got COVID.
Very
as
true.
well, so
Apparently.
it's all a conspiracy. So it was to watch The Ring, was it? The first part.
Yeah, so watch the tape for The Ring or say Candyman 3 times in front of a dark mirror.
So if I'm watching The Ring, she's actually going to come out and get me, or?
Yeah.
Like 7 days, right?
She scares me. She really scares me, and she'd make such a mess. I think I'd go Candyman too.
Alright, I'm gonna go with Candyman as well. I really face that guy with a lot of bees. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Yes.
Do you know what? I'm going to go against the grain here and say The Ring because no one actually knows what she does to people. And I want to know what she's going to do to me to make my face go all swishy. Because we never actually see that. We just see the aftermath. So I want to know what she does to make me go all swishy. And maybe, I can be like, was it Naomi Campbell or whoever? Or Naomi Watts, sorry. Whoever she was, when she tries to make friends with her and save her, then I would totally try and do that. And if she's ungrateful, then I'd just be like, do you know what? I deserve to die. Because if the world is going to be like this and be ungrateful for such noble intentions, then yeah, it's all right. We're good to go.
And you could give her a makeover at the same time.
Exactly. With my scissor hands.
Yes.
Maybe she's just bitter. Yeah, maybe she's just bitter because she's been down at the well and her hair is a mess, her face is a mess. She's been in the same bloody dress for God knows how long. Poor girl. Nah, I'd say watch the tape from The Ring, even though I've been scared of that film for a long time, just simply because I want to know what actually happens when she comes out of the TV. And also, I feel like whatever she does is done quickly, whereas the Candyman can draw that shit out. So yeah.
Have you seen the Japanese version?
Yeah. Wait, of The Ring, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually found the American version to be scarier, but I think it's not to do with reading subtitles or anything. I just felt like The Ring, the Japanese version, like built up to this whole moment and it was over so quick. Whereas in the American one, it's kind of like throughout the whole thing, it's got this whole vibe throughout the whole thing. I don't know.
I think it's one of the best ones, the best
Yeah.
remakes that the Americans have done.
Yeah, definitely. And there's like 3 of them, I think now, or maybe there's 4. Oh no, I'm thinking of The Grudge. There's like 4 Grudges. And they're not all awful either.
I think The Grudge is supposed to be better the original Japanese version. Is that right? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, definitely. It was cool to see Sarah Michelle Gellar try and do it. She actually didn't do too bad, but I think the Japanese version of The Grudge was, I don't know, there was just more authenticity to it. And it weirds me out. Like with The Ring, it doesn't have to be Japanese. Because the concept is a videotape and you can do that anywhere. Whereas the Grudge is specifically, it's the idea is a Japanese, not a proverb, it's a Japanese story. So I felt like it should be Japanese, and the Japanese did it really well. And the way the Americans did it was done, really true to the Japanese original, but I just feel like the Japanese original had that air to it that makes more sense in Japanese. But both versions were good.
And Buffy the Vampire Slayer, no.
But also, didn't she go to Japan, or was it just in Chinatown? I really can't remember, but I swear she went to Japan, and then all of a sudden everyone speaks English.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I really can't remember. The Grudge. I'm pretty sure because the architecture was Japanese. I don't mean the 2020 version.
If you're ever in the mood for a film that isn't horror but is based in Japan, it's called Sea of Trees.
Okay.
It's a real worm. It sort of gets you the next day. It's got Naomi Watts in it too.
Okay, I'll check it out. The American one is when Sarah Michelle Gellar moves to Tokyo. And I'm sure, obviously, in her line of work, there are people that are going to speak English. But I just felt it very strange that a lot of them spoke English. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not authentic, is
it?
But
yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think the original was more authentic. But I don't know, because one of my favorite horror films of all time is called Reincarnation. And it's a Japanese horror film. A lot of the ones that I like the most are Japanese horror films. And in this, it's like this director is shooting a film based on a murder tragedy that happened in a hotel however many years ago. And he hires all these actors and stuff. Not all of the actors are, but some of them are reincarnated they are reincarnated victims. And it's really, really cool. Like the twist is really quite well done. So that kind of has always stuck with me. The last question is, would you rather be Alfred Hitchcock's production assistant or John Carpenter's?
I'm going to go with the same answer that Tippi Hedren would say and say probably John Carpenter's. Just because
Okay.
I don't know if you I feel like Alfred Hitchcock he's a weird guy. I don't want to be around too many weird guys in my life, so I'm gonna go with John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter has like a humble old man vibe. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think Hitchcock would be a real ballbuster. I'm going Carpenter as well. Just because I don't want my balls busted.
Alright. So I'm gonna go with John Carpenter as well, because I really like the movies like Halloween, The Thing.
Yeah.
I grew up watching these movies, so I'm gonna go with him.
I think I'd be safer working with John Carpenter, but I would love to get to know the mind of Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, obviously that's not an option anymore, but like I would just love to understand what's going on in his head when he makes the decisions he makes. Like, why are you choosing to be such a psycho? Like, I don't know.
Such a good job.
He
though,
just-
didn't he really?
Yeah. And it's like, to make the films he does with like these small hidden bits in it, I'd love to understand that. And he is one of the greats. I'm not saying that John Carpenter isn't, it's just Alfred Hitchcock is, everyone knows that name. So I don't know. I think I'll just see. I love psychology, and I would love to understand the psychology behind what he does and the decisions he makes. So yeah, I guess I'd go with Alfred Hitchcock.
It would be fun
But-
to rub his bald head too, wouldn't it? Just make a wish and then run like hell before he fired you.
Basically, yeah. But yeah, that is all of the questions done. It took a while to get through. But yeah, it's been great. Obviously, Jude, this was your first time, so welcome. How did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Obviously, Adam, you've been here a few times now.
Yes, it's always lovely to talk about these gruesome and ugly things.
And Red, obviously, you're a long-time participant.
Yeah. I'm interested in these new people that I join in the podcast. It's good to have more people in here, like family.
Yeah, a bigger family, and there's more variety as well. And it's good that we have so many people from all over the world participating, which gives different perspectives as well, which is really cool. Yeah, so thank you to everyone for joining. This was episode 7. Episode 8 will be out, I think, in about 2 weeks, was it? Well, not out, but will be recorded in 2 weeks. The end of October, I believe. So thank you for all of the people listening in. That was episode 7, and we'll see you next time. I've been your host today. I'm Amber, and with me I have had
Adam Plant.
Did you?
And RedRare.
Okay, so we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Bye.